Trojans, did you see the Lincoln Riley press conference after the Utah loss? I think it's time for a NATO Summit. Join me on this episode of Trojans Talk on Tap.
Go Trojans go, LBC pouring cardinal and gold. Listen close, one thing's for sure. We know that they know we going blow for blow. The best out the west, known throughout the town. Show up to show out, that's what it's all about. Score so much, tired travelers shutting it down. Make plays all day, yes we chase to the ground. The next man up is the next Heisman. Only bleed USC, yes we've been built to win. Catch roses while we ball all across the map. Too strong, fight on, it's Trojan Talk on Tap.
Welcome to the channel, Trojans. Before we get into this episode, some quick business. Thank you very much for all those that have subscribed to the new LBC channel. Totally appreciate it. Officially kicked off during Notre Dame week, and we're already over 350 subscribers. Appreciate it. Let's grow the channel. Go ahead and share the video, subscribe, like, hit the bell notification so you know when I go live. I'll be dropping off some new content this week. Did a brewery tour at the brewery in Placentia, California. You want to check that out. They got the release of Black Tuesday coming up. And then also we'll get into a Cal preview. But let's talk about the NATO Summit and what happened at the Coliseum last Saturday night. Trojans, I'm speechless, and probably like you are as well. But you probably caught me on the Voice of College Football USC channel. We do our post-game shows after every USC game with co-hosts Tony Altimore and Tim Prangley Jr., and we got into it. And I interviewed a few different Trojans on the way out of the Coliseum, as well as some Utah fans. So you can check that out. But NATO stands for No.Action.Talk.Only. And if you saw that press conference, Lincoln Riley started off by saying this is the first time that he's experienced a loss at the Coliseum. He didn't really have a lot of eye contact. His body actions made it seem like he didn't want to be there. Also not there for the first time. Don't know if it means anything, but he didn't have any players. So not that I hold the players accountable at all. I know the players are working hard. These are players the coaching staff selected in the transfer portal and through high school recruiting. I put this on Lincoln Riley and the coaching staff. And Trojans, if you followed me at the USC Voice of College Football last year, I said so much after that debacle at Rice-Eccles Stadium where we lost on the last play. Funny, Lincoln Riley talked about losing on the last play this year. This game should have been circled, not only because of that game at Rice-Eccles where we lost by 1 point, 42-41, where there was no defense and there was a lack of a running game. And if you remember in the Pete Carroll era and other eras of USC football, we understand what championship football looks like, and you have to have a very good defense, if not an elite defense. And Pete Carroll always used to say, you pack your running game and your defense when you go on the road. And Lincoln Riley didn't do that. We had Travis Dye last year running the ball, and Austin Jones. And Travis Dye had a great game at the Coliseum the week before, beating Washington State 30-14, and he ran the ball for over 150 yards. There was a lack of running game, and there was a lack of time management, and there was a lot of mistakes in that game, needless to say, as well as in the Pac-12 championship, again, where USC had a lead and lost to the Utes and Kyle Whittingham. And then we all remember the Cotton Bowl. I don't need to get into that. But move into the offseason, and Lincoln Riley made some changes. He got Kingsbury to come in and be the offensive analyst to help out Caleb Williams and the offense. He also hired Greg Brown as a defensive analyst, and he also hired two other younger defensive analysts to help out Alex Grinch to be another set of eyeballs with this defense and to give Lincoln Riley more of a CEO level where he is responsible for the whole team. And if you remember after the spring game, Lincoln Riley went on record in the press conference, and he basically said that Caleb Williams and the coaching staff and Lincoln Riley himself have to get better at coaching and situation mastery, where it was good last year and needs to be great this year. So he was on record understanding some of the shortcomings that happened last year, and perhaps that have been following him after leaving Oklahoma for 5 years. He's heard a lot of the noise. And what we're finding out, Trojans, is Lincoln Riley doesn't necessarily do well listening to the noise. But you know what the noise was, Lincoln. You came to USC. You talked about coming here and understanding national championships and watching Pete Carroll and all those great teams. Okay. That is the standard that is here. The noise is louder in Los Angeles. This is the sports capital of the world. With all the different professional teams, the standard that the Lakers, the Dodgers have established, and you, rightly so, USC football is the #3 brand in Southern California. That's what it is. And now people are starting to question you, Lincoln Riley. And we've heard the noise about the defense. I'm not going to get into Alex Grinch. That's a byproduct of the head coach. Okay. It's the responsibility of Lincoln Riley to manage the offense. You have a Heisman Trophy winner. You have all these outstanding skilled players. And this problem dates back to, let's talk about the last 4 games previous to this Utah game. The USC defense has given up 38.4 points a game over the last 5 games, including 3 games over 41 points. And you take a look at that Colorado game, you come back against the Arizona Wildcats at the Coliseum, you have to win in multiple overtimes on the last play. Colorado could have come down to the last play because you mismanaged that game and didn't run the ball. And so that's a question. It's a question I had after the Colorado game. I went on record. Why didn't we run the ball? Why didn't we rip their hearts out? You get a turnover on an interception at within the Colorado 25-yard line. You have one run play and 3 pass plays. People are saying, "Oh, you're going to question that he scores too fast?" No, it's about imposing your will. It's about clock management, something that Lincoln Riley has not done. And then the defense makes another stop in that Colorado game on the road. And special teams blocks the kick, and you get the ball again within the Colorado 25-yard line. 1 run play, 3 pass plays. You score in a little over a minute. So there was no running game. So perhaps USC can't run the ball. Not a question if they wouldn't, but maybe they can't. And that question perhaps was addressed at that debacle at Notre Dame. What happened to the offensive line? It wasn't just one player. It was multiple players. Caleb Williams had no time. I didn't see any adjustments at halftime. And Trojans, we all know that Pete Carroll was very, very good, his coaching staff, of making second half adjustments. In this press conference after the Utah game, Lincoln Riley said that the offense wore down or slowed down in the second and third quarter. He's absolutely right on that. Where were the adjustments, Lincoln Riley? If you look at the 32 points that were scored, you had a pick 6, and then you had Zachariah Branch's 67-yard punt return that set up the 4th touchdown. So the offense was stagnant. I don't understand what was happening. We'd never established a run game again. You have Marshawn Lloyd. Yes, Marshawn Lloyd had a great TD run, but at the same time, he only carried the ball 7 more times. Where is the run to set up the pass to keep the other defenses off balance? We haven't seen that. Okay. This game against Utah should have been circled, just like every other team that plays USC. Their game is circled. Why wasn't this game circled? Maybe it was, but in a business, if you don't close deals, there's going to be second guessing. And you're running a business, Lincoln. You have offense, you have defense, you have special teams. Okay. And yes, I know you're working hard, but if you can't close the deal, then changes have to be made. Accountability has to be made. You have to review what happened, why it didn't happen. We know you're working hard, but are you working smart enough? Are you working smart enough to elevate this team to the standards that the fan base is used to and we thought we were getting? Now, maybe you can turn it around, but I know the previous coaching staff under Pete Carroll, when you're winning championships, there was no loss November. And now, if we don't make changes, I want to see some action. I want to see some results, not about we are in there till the last play. You should be closing the deal. This is Utah at home with a 3rd-string walk-on quarterback. There's no Cam Rising, and we still can't close the deal. This is a Utah team without Cam Rising, came in averaging 13.5 points a game in their 2 road wins. Actually, 1 road win and 1 road loss. They beat Baylor 20-13, and they lost at Oregon State 21-7. But yet, they matched their season high 34 points scored away from Rice-Eccles Stadium. They just put up 34 points at home last week against Cal. And speaking of Cal, USC has to go up to Berkeley this week. And Berkeley will be waiting. The Cal Bears will be waiting because check this, Lincoln, It's going to be their bowl game. It's circled. It has been. And Trojans, if you remember, Lincoln Riley had the opportunity, due to a fluke in scheduling, to go up to Cal and evaluate the team. It was at Berkeley, and that team was listless. Didn't look like they wanted to be there. Well, we're going to get to see, Lincoln, did you build the culture? Because Kyle Whittingham has been building a defensive culture. It's not just words. It's not talk. It's action. And Kyle Whittingham has that culture where they believe that they can beat USC. And they have 4 consecutive times, 3 times under your watch, lately at the Coliseum. So yes, we do have everything in front of us. We could still qualify for the Pac-12 championship, but the talking has to end now, and we want to see action. Before I share this tasty beer to upgrade your tailgate game, let me know what you think about Lincoln Riley. Are some of his coaching decisions responsible for USC's close wins and close losses and the embarrassing loss in South Bend? Let me know what you think. Share this video with your friends so they can comment as well. Drop your comments down below. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at LBC Trojan. You can follow me on Instagram at 5 o'clock now to get the latest videos on USC football, college football, and craft beer. I want to give a shout out to my friend Jim over at Mattercraft Beer in Huntington Beach. He put together a VIP brewery tour of the brewery in Placentia. I'll be dropping a video on that later this week. We'd also enjoy to hear from you guys what beers and breweries you would like more information on. Drop me a note in the comments, and I'll see if I can set that up. Trojans, upgrade your tailgate beer with Liquid Gravity's The Art of Quiet. I had this beer before the football game, before playing Utah, thinking that we were going to silence all those Utah fans. Little did I know the opposite was going to happen when that field goal split the uprights and Utah won 34-32. Regardless, this is an unbelievable beer. Liquid Gravity out of San Luis Obispo, California. Just last month won the 2023 Brewery of the Year at the Great American Beer Festival in Colorado. This is an awesome West Coast IPA. If you ever had their other Liquid Gravity IPAs, this is fantastic. Heavily dosed with Simcoe and Citra hops. You get some papaya and fruit notes along with some pine. You have a moderate bitterness, and every sip is crisp, dry, and refreshing. So upgrade your tailgate beer, Trojans, with Liquid Gravity, The Art of Quiet. And hopefully, Trojans, we'll go up to Memorial Stadium next weekend and we will quiet the Cal Bears. Fight on.